Good morning, everyone, and welcome to another Tuesday. Today's reading is a bit of a long one, but it's a fantastic reading, and it comes from the very beginning of Deuteronomy. Deuteronomy chapter 1 and verses 19 to 40. And this is Moses talking to the Israelites as part of his big speech to them.
Yeah. Here we go. Then, just as the Lord our God commanded us, we left Mount Sinai and travelled through the great and terrifying wilderness, as you yourselves remember, and headed toward the hill country of the Amorites. When we arrived at Kadesh Barnea, I said to you, you have now reached the hill country of the Amorites that the Lord our God is giving us. Look, he has placed the land in front of you. Go and occupy it, as the Lord, the God of your ancestors, has promised you. Don't be afraid, don't be discouraged. But you all came to me and said, "First, let's send out the scouts to explore the land for us. They will advise us on the best route to take and which towns we should enter." This seemed like a good idea to me, so I chose 12 scouts, one from each of your tribes. They headed for the hill country and they came to the valley of Eshcol and explored it. They picked some of its fruit and brought it back to us, and they reported, "The land of the Lord our God has given us. The land the Lord our God has given us is indeed a good land." There we go. But you rebelled against the command of the Lord your God and refused to go in. You complained in your tents and said, "The Lord must hate us. That's why he has brought us here from Egypt, to hand us over to the Amorites to be slaughtered. Where can we go? Our brothers have demoralized us with their report. They tell us, the people of the land are taller and more powerful than we are, and their towns are large with walls rising high to the sky. We even saw giants there, the descendants of Anak." But I said to you, "Don't be shocked or afraid of them. The Lord your God is going ahead of you. He will fight for you, just as you saw him do in Egypt. And you saw how the Lord your God cared for you all along the way as you travelled through the wilderness, just as a father cares for his child. Now he has brought you to this place." But even after all he did, you refused to trust the Lord your God, who goes before you, looking for the best places to camp, guiding you with a pillar of fire by night and a pillar of cloud by day. When the Lord heard your complaining, he became very angry. So he solemnly swore, "Not one of you from this wicked generation will live to see the good land I swore to give your ancestors, except for Caleb, son of Jephunneh." That'll do. "He will see this land because he has followed the Lord completely. I will give to him and his descendants some of the very land he explored during his scouting mission." And the Lord was also angry with me because of you. He said to me, "Moses, not even you will enter the promised land. Instead, your assistant, Joshua, son of Nun, will lead the people into the land. Encourage him, for he will lead Israel as they take possession of it. I will give the land to your little ones, your innocent children. You are afraid that they will be captured, but they will be the ones who will occupy it. As for you, turn around now and go on back through the wilderness towards the Red Sea." That was a long reading.
That was a long reading.
So, we saw in the reading that I've just read out that the spies come back from scouting the promised land with a good report. All sounds promising.
Everything sounds good.
The Israelites rebelled against God's command and they refused to go to the promised land, saying that the people of the land are taller and more powerful than us. Their towns are large with walls rising up high into the sky, and we even saw giants. Now we found it a bit funny, didn't we? The irony of this refusal to go into the promised land. So they refused to go, even though with all of the evidence of God going before them, delivering them from Egypt, helping them cross the Red Sea, following the clouds of fire, following the pillars of cloud and fire, all the way through the wilderness. They get to the promised land and they go, "We're not going in there." And yet after that, they still follow God through the pillars of cloud and fire for another 40 years. Mm-hmm. And they still end up going into the promised land, just the long way around.
And so we can often read this and just think, "Oh, you donkey." We read and think the Israelites are just so silly, so ridiculous. Like, honestly, why have they done this? They've got all of this proof of how God has delivered them from crisis to crisis. And God's commanding them to do the same again. Like, "I will be going before you. I have won the battle already. I just need you to take the step." And instead, they don't. They complain and rebel, as they said. And it is just so wonderfully ironic, isn't it? Especially when it's the good news of how good the promised land is. So we just found that really interesting, really. that when they eventually did take the promised land as well, to add to the irony, the giants they faced literally and metaphorically were bigger, stronger, more impressive than the ones that they could have faced
The first time round. Yeah.
And so it is just so ironic.
Yeah.
And I thought it was really interesting just how ironic it is. But as Christians, we know that Jesus has already won the battle for us. And this story is an excellent reminder of that anything is possible for God, and that with God on our side, we have nothing to fear. So yeah.
Yeah. Even if we go the long way around.
Even if we go the long way around, yeah. So those are some thoughts on a brilliant passage, but there's far more in that
oh yeah,
you could explore and think about. Yeah.
But we're not going to.
We could go on for 40 years, some might say.
We're not going to do that. Have a great Tuesday.
See ya.
Bye.